Who are you? My notation is Maestro. But what are you? I am music.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Bucket Think Tank. So, Devil's Chord, Devil's Chord. So, this one's about music and an offshoot or an offspring of the celestial toy maker. In this case, the Maestro, played by Jinx Monsoon. So, Jinx Monsoon was one of the earlier reveals about this era, and people were sort of all over the place about it. Personally, I didn't care. I was like, okay, let's just see what happens. And honestly, Jinx Monsoon's great. She makes a great villain. I love it. Yeah, yeah. If you saw the last video, we're just picking up right where we left off. So the Maestro's gig is that she wants to remove all music, and not just the sound, but the sort of feelings and emotions it creates. We find this out when Ruby and the Doctor decide to go to see the Beatles. I'm like, okay, yeah, if there's anything Britain's got that they're not going to let go, it's the Beatles. And, hey, look, it's Shaft. No, I'm kidding. The idea is in this moment, the Beatles and everyone else there, they don't love music. Like, hey, we can play music, but nothing means anything to them here. There's no expression. There's no this comes from a real place bit here. Music is just like a way to make some money. It's pretty much it. Even then, they're not happy to do it. So the Doctor's trying to figure out exactly what's going on here, and when he finds out about the Maestro, naming that the Maestro is an offshoot or a child of Celestial Toymaker, pretty much saying, hey, when you trapped him, when you defeated him, you let us out, implying there's more. And there's one thing I like and one thing I absolutely hate about this episode. One thing I like is Shooty described his Doctor as someone who's very open with his emotions. Like, he doesn't hide anything. How he feels is what he says. What he says is how he feels. Alright, so he talks about how the fight with the Toymaker last time split his soul. Interesting take on bioregeneration. Maybe we'll figure that out more. But whatever. And one thing I hated, like I absolutely hated, is him just casually mentioning, oh, Susan might be dead. Like, my granddaughter might be dead. Like, what do you mean she might be dead? Well, you see, when they were genocided, I wasn't sure not sure if Susan was or wasn't part of that. I mean, what do you mean you're not sure if your granddaughter is alive or not? Like, it's one thing if you think, hey, maybe time took its toll on her and she passed away, doing what she loved. But if you're saying you're not sure if she was killed or not, and your response isn't, let me go find my granddaughter, I'm like, you know what? No, I draw the line there. Alright? I do not believe for a moment that if the Doctor thought there was a chance Susan would be in any real danger or anything, his next response would be, I'm going to go find Susan. Alright? That's kind of it. Like, I think if he'd seen Susan, if you found out Susan was on Gallifrey that day when the Master genocided, or, turned them all into Cybermen, I think he might have snapped and he might have destroyed everything. And that's even if we're counting the 13th Doctor found out. Like, if Jodie found out. If 13, played by Jodie Whittaker, found out about Susan? No. No. Like, this is one thing I wanted Jodie Whittaker to do, was to act like her child had died. I really do, because that was my favorite scene in Broadchurch. It was just like, it was such a gut-wrenching scene. Alright. When Jodie had to play a mom who just found out that her son had died. Or someone was murdered. And, it was that scene kept me watching Broadchurch. But anyway, that upsetting thing applied. There's also more of a hint to what Ruby is, alright? Or at least what's going on, because the Maestro can actually take music from you, alright? Like, take the notes, what they mean to you out, and as she tries to do it to Ruby, there's like a note buried deep within her, and the Maestro says, like, there's only one person who could have put that in there, and she's visibly scared. So there's that. I do like how this episode sort of ended, and the fact that the Doctor says that, hey, this is how the plan's going to work, this is how we'll take out the Maestro, but it doesn't quite pan out the way it plays a bit like the invasion, I think, in the second Doctor's era, where it's a plan, but the Doctor is mostly unable to execute it. It's mostly down to hope and prayers at that point. And I do like when the Doctor has an idea and doesn't always pan out as well, and someone else has to save the day to an extent. I really think that's what happens most of the time in Doctor Who. Like we point out, the Doctor's always got like all these amazing victories, but it's always by the skin of his teeth. There's never a yes, I know, and I win. No, it's usually an intense battle. All right, mentally, emotionally exhausting, and it could have easily gone either way. But you do it enough times, there you go. Um, then of course there's the ending to this, and I think most people hated the ending to this. Like, oh yeah, it's fun, or it was like the influx of music coming back. It is what it is. I'm not gonna lie, it took me out of the whole episode. It was not my taste. This whole big musical number, no. Could have done without it. Which is a shame because I would like a musical episode of Doctor Who. Like Doctor Who and the Pirates is still one of my favorite audios. Alright? A Gallifreyan Buccaneer. Oh, great times, great times. So that is it for Devil's Chord. It's a fun story. I think it's much better than Space Babies. But I wouldn't put this first because there's too much going on here. As a matter of fact, this is the second episode in a row where we get more into the mystery of Ruby, and I don't think we needed to keep going into this. Like, I guess because they don't have as many episodes, they want to try to create a very fast-paced story. But now we're implying that every episode is going to reveal more and more to the mystery of Ruby. So which means this mystery better pay off. So anyway, with that, management brings to close here. If you're new to the thank you, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe. What do you think about this episode? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave your thoughts in the comment section. I'll catch you all later. This is Bucket Think Tank signing off. Thanks for watching. As always, may your fandom serve you well.